What if your dog isn't just staying near you? What if it's standing between you and something you can't see? Think about this for a second. You're walking alone. Everything feels normal. Nothing looks wrong. And suddenly, your dog stops. Not slowly, not casually, instantly. Its body freezes. Its ears shift. Its eyes lock onto something. You don't even notice. And then it moves, not away from you, but in front of you, blocking your path, creating distance between you and whatever it sees. That moment isn't random. That moment is instinct. Because long before dogs lived with humans, they survived in packs. And in every pack, there was one rule that never changed. Protect the vulnerable at all costs. While some slept, others stayed awake. While some moved freely, others scanned for danger. Because survival wasn't individual, it was shared. And that instinct never disappeared. It evolved. It adapted. And now, you are part of that system. But here's the part most people get wrong. Your dog doesn't protect you because you trained it to. It protects you because its brain tells it to, automatically, without thinking, without hesitation. Because when your dog looks at you, it doesn't see an owner. It sees something else, something more primitive, a member of its pack. And in that structure, every position matters. Every role matters. And your role is not the protector, not in its eyes. Because you do something your dog doesn't understand. You relax in unsafe environments. You ignore subtle sounds. You don't react to small changes. From a dog's perspective, that makes you vulnerable, unaware, exposed. And that triggers something deep inside its brain. A need to compensate, to fill the gap, to become what you are not in that moment. Aware, alert, ready. That's why your dog reacts before you do, not after. Before. A sound you don't hear, it hears. A movement you don't see, it detects. A shift in energy, it feels instantly. Because dogs are wired to read the environment, at a level humans simply can't. Studies in animal behavior show dogs process subtle environmental changes much faster than humans. Sound frequency, movement patterns, even body language from a distance. All of it feeds into one system, threat detection. And when that system activates, everything else shuts down. Playfulness, relaxation, comfort, gone, replaced by focus, precision, control. That's why your dog's body changes in those moments. It becomes still, tense, grounded, because movement creates noise, and noise creates risk. So it minimizes everything except awareness. And then comes the most important decision, positioning. Your dog doesn't just react. It places itself between you and the unknown. That positioning is not emotional. It's strategic. Because in pack behavior, the protector never hides behind. It stands in front, taking the first contact, the first impact, the first risk. So when your dog steps in front of you, it's not just reacting, it's choosing to take your place if something happens. And that decision happens in less than a second, without hesitation, without doubt. Because to your dog, that's its role. Now here's where things start to change. At first, this behavior is purely instinct, automatic, mechanical. But over time, something else builds on top of it. Something stronger, connection. Because the more time your dog spends around you, the more it learns your patterns, your movements, your reactions, your habits. And slowly, you stop being just part of the pack You become something specific, something important, something worth prioritizing. That's when protection shifts from instinct to intention. And that's where everything changes. Because your dog doesn't just protect out of instinct anymore, it protects you specifically, not the house, not the space, you. Because over time, you become the center of its world. Your voice, your movement, your presence, all of it becomes familiar, recognizable, important. And in a dog's brain, what is important must be protected. That's why your dog doesn't react the same way to everyone. It doesn't stand in front of strangers. It doesn't block random people. But with you, the behavior is different, more intense, more immediate, more personal. Because now it's not just reacting to a situation, it's reacting for you. That's why when someone approaches, your dog doesn't just observe, it repositions, carefully, deliberately, placing itself exactly where it needs to be. To control the space between you and the unknown, that space matters because distance equals time, and time equals control. The closer a threat gets, the less time there is to react. So your dog reduces that risk by stepping in first, creating a barrier, buying time before anything even happens. That's not emotion. That's strategy, refined through evolution. But here's where it becomes something deeper, because your dog doesn't turn that system off, even when there's no obvious danger, especially at night, when everything is quiet, when everything seems safe. That's when your dog is most active. Not physically, mentally. Because at night, your awareness drops to zero. You sleep. You stop reacting. You become completely vulnerable. And your dog knows that. That's why it stays awake, watching, listening, monitoring everything around you. The door, the window, the smallest sound, and you. Always you. Your breathing, your movement, your state. Because if anything changes, your dog has to react first. Not you. Never you. That responsibility belongs to it. And it takes that role seriously. Even when nothing happens. Even when the entire night is quiet. Because protection isn't about reacting. It's about being ready at all times. That's why your dog doesn't fully relax at night. Even if it lies down, its eyes stay open. Its ears stay active. Its body stays prepared. Because the moment something changes, it moves. Instantly. No delay. No hesitation. And if that moment comes, your dog doesn't run. It doesn't hide. It doesn't wait. It steps forward. Into the unknown. Into the risk. Between you and whatever might happen. That's the part most people don't fully understand. Your dog isn't just warning you, it's replacing you, taking your position, so you don't have to. And that decision happens faster than you can think. Because to your dog, there is no debate, no hesitation, no second guessing, only action. Now here's the part that makes it even more powerful. Your dog doesn't expect anything in return. No reward, no recognition, no acknowledgement, because from its perspective, this isn't something extra. This is normal. This is its role. Something it does because that's how it's wired. And that's why the moment morning comes, everything changes again. Light enters the room. You wake up, you move, you become aware again. And instantly, the system shuts down. Your dog relaxes. Its body softens. Its focus disappears. Because you are no longer vulnerable, you can protect yourself again. So it doesn't need to. That's why the behavior feels invisible, like it only exists for a moment, then disappears completely. Night, focused, silent, protective. Day, relaxed, playful, normal. But it's always there, waiting for the moment it's needed again. And that moment always comes back because every day ends the same way. You go to sleep, you lose awareness, you become vulnerable again. And somewhere nearby, your dog is already watching, already listening, already preparing to take the same position, to make the same decision, to stand in the same place between you and everything else again and again and again. So the next time your dog suddenly steps in front of you or reacts to something you don't even notice, don't ignore it. Don't assume it's random, because in that moment, your dog is doing something very real. It's protecting you, not because you asked, not because you trained it, but because in its world, you are worth protecting. And that is something it proves every single day. Without ever needing to say a word,